Okay, everybody, well, let's get cracking then. My name is Robert, and I work on the marketing team at Escape here, and I'm just giving you a brief introduction to today's session. So, today with you will be Allar Kaasik, who is one of our 2D tutors here at Escape Studios, and he will be talking you through color correction. I believe his presentation is about 45 minutes long, and there will be space for some questions at the end of the session. So do hold on, and I'll give you the prompt for when you should ask anything that's been burning up during the session. So get a pen and paper. I believe that's all. I'll catch you guys at the end, and I'll let you get on with it. Have a good session.
Thank you very much, Ash. I hope everyone can hear me loud and clear. So our topic today is to look at color corrections in Nuke, which is it's the main thing that compositors actually do. And we have a variety of tools available to us that actually make it substantially easier these days, especially since Nuke 8, which gave us scopes, and that's going to be the main topic today. So let's just dive right in, and you can all see my screen. So what we will be looking at today is a couple of things. We will look at how the match grade node can be used to convert grades from one image to another. So we have two separate grades, two separate images, and we want one of them to look like the other one. Then we will look at the same match grade node in the more sort of realistic production environment scenario, whereby our shot gets graded somewhere outside in a different company, which does happen. So we will see how it will allow us to cope with that. Similarly, then we'll move on to look at how the scopes actually work. What do they do? We have several scopes within Nuke which allow us to analyze our images. We have waveform monitors, histograms, and spectroscope, which all have their own different properties. All of them are good for something, but all of them are just tools to help us, really. And the reason it's kind of worth making a whole webinar about this is that scopes are not something that most compositors actually too familiar with. They're much more familiar with color graders, and because I was once trained as a color grader as well, I did several jobs on Baselight and Nucoda. I've done a few with DaVinci as well. So for me, finally getting waveform monitors in Nuke was really exciting, and hopefully you'll find it exciting as well. So we look at a couple of different images that we'll have. We will see how the scopes will represent them, and beyond all this, we will look at how we can use them to make comping a little bit easier. So we'll end up by putting this guy in a couple of different scenarios. We'll put him in these snowy mountains, and we'll put him in under this tree in Camden Lock. And both of those footages require their own color corrections, and we can see how scoping or color scopes allow us to achieve that. So let's start with the first sort of main idea of today, which is to look at the match grade node. Every now and again, you work on a job and you get a shot that the director wants you to kind of make. They want the look of a different shot, so they have some kind of reference footage and they want that look. So we have this nice mountain scenery here, and then we say we want it to look a bit more like this. Now, this is something that sometimes is not exactly in the domain of a compositor. It depends on whether you're compositing for film or whether you're compositing for commercials, and how much final say you have about the final look. For compositors, our main challenge generally is to make things look photoreal, and we'll see how the scopes will allow us to do that as well. But for commercial jobs, your second challenge after making things look photoreal is to make things look really, 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 really nice. So the match grade node is fairly straightforward. Basically, what it requires is two inputs. One which would be the footage that you want to change, and one which will be the footage that you're kind of referencing, the footage that gives you the look that we're after. So over here, I have my footage of the mountains, and I want these mountains to get a little bit of that kind of look. So it's kind of more contrasty, bit less green, more towards this brownish side, so it's kind of more let's say autumn look than the one of these mountains here. Now there are a couple of disclaimers with the match grade node, is that as with any procedural tools, it has limitations. So even though it allows us to make things easier, it also is, it has several limitations, but nevertheless, it can make our work faster. So with this match grade node here, the first challenge that we have is, we can even do this just on the side to see that I have actually done this. This is not something we've set up too long ago before, and that it is actually faster. So what you need is a footage that you want to match things to, and the footage that you want to change. So let's get rid of the original there. Let's do that. So in this match grade node, what you first need to do is you need to set some kind of reference frames, and there are two ways that you can use the match grade node. This one, we'll be trying to make a footage that we have look like a different footage. So you have to set this as the task of the match grade node itself. So the task, we need to match a different clip. Now, if you have footage that actually has some kind of length, my examples here today are only still frames for the sake of the speed of this seminar. But if you have footage of different length, then you choose frames that are most representative of the kind of grade that you want to get across. For my footage here, all my footages are 1 frame long, so I can simply say I will set my frame, let's go to frame 1, Alt G to do that, and set it to be my keyframe for my source and for my target. And once I've done that, I simply analyze the reference frames, and this immediately carries across the color, the look of this other shot. Now, it is not perfect. There are issues that we get with this shot as well. If we compare this one, this shot is very nice. We have some nice highlights in the sky over there, but also this shot contains grades that are not primary. Primary would be grades that have been applied for the whole image. This also contains secondary grades which would have been applied through a mask, and the match grade will not be able to completely take that across, but it has made it substantially more similar. There is another thing which is a disclaimer with the match grade node, is that you need footages that contain roughly the same amount of sort of beginning surfaces. So if one of my footages contains a lot of green and a little bit of sky, and my other footage that I'm trying to reference contains a lot of sky and just a little bit of green, a little bit of grass, then I want to crop my target footage to have the same amount of each. So the discrepancies that we see between the two, they most likely come from the fact that this footage started off, it didn't actually contain any green grass, but the green grass that we have here, we have made it look a bit more like the look from the other one. And similarly, our skies, they started off looking quite different, but the whole look we have actually been able to get across quite easily. And if this was a cut from that shot to that shot, then it's taking us towards it. So this is the match grade node. It's very simple, very procedural. You pick the reference frames that you want to match, and just hit go, really.